It is crazy how fast the year is flying by. It is now July, which means I am 6 months into doing full-time YouTube content creation as my full-time job. So time to do an update video. Again, a very informal conversational video. Did one before on the 3-month update that was really well received. So just casual, conversational, talking about what it's been like doing YouTube full-time for 6 months. In case you're not familiar, in my past many years of doing YouTube, I've always had a full-time job or school when I was in college outside of it. It was like a hobby side business that evolved over time, but it was always outside of doing a 9-to-5 full-time job. And I pretty much spent weekends, evenings, late nights, editing, filming, and so forth. But at the end of last year, I decided to resign from my full-time job at HP Tuners and give YouTube a shot. Content creation. I wanted to see what I could do. So left my role, resigned at the end of last year, took January off to kind of rest and recharge, and then full on. And it's been 6 months now. It's been challenging. There's been highs and lows. There's really awesome parts. There's really challenging parts, difficult parts. So let's talk about it. What has full-time YouTube been like? Well, a lot of people ask me how it's been going. Right? Are you enjoying it? Do you have any regrets? To be fully honest and transparent, this is what this video is, just fully honest, transparent, my thoughts, feelings, what it's been like. It's been good, not great. Very challenging. A lot of really difficult things I did not expect. The first thing is income. That's going to be an obvious one. That's why I'm talking about it first, because it's very easy to discuss, right? I had a full-time W-2 before, a career, a full-time job that paid me well, and I was living off of that. And then YouTube, anything I made off of YouTube was essentially disposable income, the fun money to buy cars, cool sports cars, the R8, the Shelby GT350R, traveling, latest electronic gadgets, eating out, whatever, right? It was disposable money. Now, I knew leaving, I was going to take quite a big pay cut, right? Now I'm living off of what I can make off of YouTube from the monetization of the channel, whatever random bonuses Facebook or Instagram is doing, some occasional brand deals here and there. But I knew I was going to be making a lot less money. And that's true. It's a reality of it. And it's been a challenge. There's no way to sugarcoat it, right? I've reduced my cost of living substantially, and I'm fortunate that I was able to put away money into savings as a bit of a buffer, but I try not to touch that and just able to barely cover my month-to-month costs right now with what I've been doing on YouTube. And is it challenging? Yes, absolutely. It costs a lot of money to just exist these days, right? Like groceries and gas money. Holy crap, I go to the grocery store to get like food for like the week, and it's like, why is this $120? I bought 5 things, right? And that's what everybody is facing. It is expensive to live right now, and it's a good thing for me. My friend Fabio was like, you're gonna relearn the value of money. I'm like, what do you mean? I know the value of money. Oh boy, is it expensive to live. So income, not the end of the world. It's something I knew going into it, but it's definitely a big change. It definitely can be challenging for sure. I am not spending money remotely like how I used to, right? I'm selling things now. I'm downsizing, minimalizing, and really just evaluating, do I need this in my life? And across all sorts of things, from random little collectibles to Legos. I haven't bought Legos in like a year and a half, which is wild. It's almost been a year since I bought a car. I'm selling cars and so forth, right? So just a very different perspective and change just due to viewing money a bit differently as I'm self-employed. But the whole point in going for this is the potential, right? You take the risk, the cut, you are hoping that it pays off in the future because the potential is higher. The way I view it is when you're an employee, you can do well, right? You move your way up the corporate ladder, or you get more and more responsibilities, you get raises and so forth, and people can do very well, but it's usually a much more staggered, kind of regular trajectory as you advance through your career, and usually you may hit a cap and so forth. There's limits to it. Whereas when you're self-employed, if you're a business owner, whether it's content creation like your own brand, like what I'm trying to do, or brick and mortar business, or e-commerce, the potential is very high. A lot of business owners who are successful, that's how you build insane wealth, right? Not saying I'm trying to get to that level at all whatsoever, but it's always for the potential. So you take the short-term loss, the suffering, the challenges, the hardships, right, for the potential in the future. That's why I was going for this. So income, right? straight dollars. Dollar signs, there's a lot less dollar signs going into the bank account. The next challenge is getting discouraged. I've always viewed myself as somebody who could have a positive mindset, growth mindset, always be optimistic. But doing this now full time, it's been difficult to not get discouraged. Put a lot of time, energy into producing, filming, editing videos, and when you post it and it doesn't do well, it can be difficult, right? It's easy to say, and I always say, just learn from the failures, learn from the mistakes, see what you can do better, make the next one better. But if a bunch of them in a row and all this effort you're putting in and just not getting anywhere, it's easy to get discouraged. It is absolutely easy to get discouraged, especially in the world of content creation and social media, where you are really at the mercy of the social media algorithms and whatever the latest trends are, and you're fighting for views, and monetization rates keep changing and so forth, right? It's just one of those challenges, as I knew getting into it. Like, I'm not trying to make an excuse or complain or whine whatsoever. It's just a challenge. And the mindset aspect of it, and not getting discouraged and staying positive and just continuing the grind, is difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of willpower. And I definitely have moments where I'm just like, man, is this the right thing? Am I cut out for this? Getting discouraged, like maybe it's not gonna work and so forth, right? So you gotta push through that and just keep going at it. So not getting discouraged is a challenge. Something that I've discovered is also doing it all by yourself. It's a bit lonelier, actually. I got used to working with a team. I've always viewed myself as very self-sufficient, right? I enjoy doing all of it myself, actually almost to my detriment sometimes, because a little bit of a perfectionist, a little bit of a control freak, and I want to do and control all of it. And I had to learn the lesson. It's like, you can't do everything by yourself. It's just not possible, right? There are people who are more talented, more skilled at certain things, and you have to be able to take those off of your plate and ask for help and share the load. And I got used to that having a team. I had a fantastic team in HB Tuners. I loved working with them, whether it was the marketing team that I had or the peers, the other directors. And then you get to share the ideas, the challenges, the upsides and downsides. And when you're discouraged, you talk to somebody else and they can help out or whatever. They give you a fresh take, a different perspective. Right now, it's by myself, right? One-person team. Obviously, I have friends to talk to, other creators, my girlfriend to share ideas with and ask for feedback. But still, ultimately, it's just me by myself. So missing the teamwork aspect is something I didn't expect, but it's also a challenge. What's the next one? Maintaining passion and excitement. That's something, when you take a hobby and you're monetizing a hobby. You're turning something you've done for fun into your job. The pressure, the stakes are so much higher, right? And it changes the way you view things. It's not quite as casual, low pressure, just, okay, it's not a big deal, right? It matters. Every single thing matters so much more. So being as excited and as passionate about every little thing, I think that's also changed. Some of that also ties into the next point of just kind of getting jaded with some of the cars, but I found it sometimes difficult to maintain the passion, excitement, creativity that I thought I had going into it, because I think it's just the shift in how you view everything, because this is your full-time career now. There's a lot of aspects of this. Cars is one thing. I'll touch upon that at first. The passion and excitement for cars, which I never expected, is, as terrible as this sounds, and it makes me really, really sad, it's starting to fade a little bit because I think I'm jaded. I remember when I was younger, even seeing a cool sports car, because I didn't have any exposure to them. Like, I would lose my mind seeing a C6 Stingray, a Corvette, just a base Corvette. I remember asking my mom to turn the car around and stop in a parking lot because in the corner of the one, I glimpsed a Ferrari F430 Spider, yellow one. I ran out and took pictures of it. And that childish excitement is completely gone. I remember feeling that fade as started going to more of these events and getting more of these experiences. Going to Monterey Car Week, right? You see 12 different LaFerraris in one day, every single new Bugatti and whatever. Huracans are just regular traffic in Monterey Car Week. And going to Cars and Coffee, I mean, no appeal to me. Car meets, car shows, no appeal to me seeing Car Static, right? I only go to see friends, the people, the conversations there. The cars themselves, after a while, you've seen them all and you get so just accustomed to it. We're so good at just normalizing things. When something becomes so familiar, you just get used to it so quickly. Happened with owning cars, right? I was taking my R8 to Costco, to the gym, driving in the snow. It was just transportation at a certain point. And you have to like take a step back and go, I would like leave the car for 2 weeks and be like, oh my gosh, I have an R8 V10. If you told me 10 years ago that, Eddie, you'll own an R8 in 10 years time, you'd be like, how? Right? That's unbelievable, right? So that passion and excitement has faded a little bit because of familiarity. I've gotten to drive so many of my dream cars, supercars, hypercars, whatever, right? I've driven a Bugatti, I've driven a McLaren P1, Koenigsegg, I've been in all these cars, been around them. So the excitement is starting to fade. They're just assets now. It's just, oh, I got this car coming, I gotta do X, Y, and Z with it to make the video and do these types of things. So I need to find a way to recapture that passion and excitement because that's what makes the content genuine. There's still cars I get excited about, right? There's a Rolls-Royce Ghost sitting outside. That's my car this week, and it's pretty cool, right? I have fun seeing some new cars and getting to drive my own cars and so forth. So it's not all doom and gloom sadness, but it's a challenge. I think the best way of phrasing it, it's been challenging, and it's something that is on my mind, and I've discovered and learned about that. You got to find a way to maintain that passion and excitement, especially when everything becomes familiar and you're used to it. This is a total tangent, but like travel is a similar thing. I've discovered that I've done so much traveling for business that the allure and the glamour is worn off. It looks so glamorous on social media. You're flying here this week, eating there, doing that, going to these cool places, but like you're not getting to do it for leisure and fun. Same thing with the cars, right? I got to drive this car, but like every single moment I got to figure out capturing content. I do X, Y, and Z, make sure I do this, make sure I do that, finite time, make sure it sounds good, make sure I have all the facts in my mind. So it's not, it's again, not a complaint, not whining about it, but a challenge for sure. Speaking of the Rolls-Royce, we're gonna hop in the car in a bit. I need to drive over to the Best Buy over in, I think, Thousand Oaks, California. Picked up a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, the little action cam gimbal thing that a lot of people are using, and I was talking to some friends, and it seems like it's pretty awesome, so we're gonna go grab that. So we're gonna transition from sitting here on the couch to in the car, GoPro, driving, talking, continuing talking, because I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of notes on my phone, so this is going to be a bit of a free-form stream of consciousness discussion. One of my friends, previous colleagues, said he liked this video because it seemed really genuine. Not saying that the other videos aren't genuine or fake or anything like that, but I put on my YouTube voice usually when I'm talking in videos. Like you're presenting, so people, when you're on camera, your demeanor can change, your cadence, the way you're speaking, your energy can be a little bit different. And he's like, when I was doing this video, it just felt like a conversation with me as a friend. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm gonna try to do that, right? I am talking to a camera lens right now, and you're watching it right now, but to try to make it as conversational, casual, laid back, low pressure, that's not fancily produced, there's not gonna be a bunch of B-roll shots or anything. You just get to look at my face and listen to me talk. So it's been challenging. I think those are some of the main challenges, some of the self-doubt that pops up, the financial aspect of things, the maintaining the passion. Yeah, that's the difficult side. Right now I'm in a very difficult, the last couple weeks I've been discouraged. It's been really challenging. I'm like, did I make the right, I made the right choice for sure. So no regrets whatsoever in that regard. I can say that with absolute confidence. Looking back to last year, I was not happy. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't like going to the gym, exercising, eating healthy. I was exhausted. I was so focused on my career and business. I was measuring my self-worth and my success solely based off of income, how much money was in the bank account, what I could buy, what cars I was driving, the restaurants I was eating at, where I was traveling to. And again, it looked amazing. It was a really cool experience, but now reflecting back, I was not happy. I was lonely and wasn't taking care of myself, right? And this year, I've been exercising, getting back into shape. That's been fantastic. I've got an amazing girlfriend now, Angel. She is awesome, and just a total perspective change on what's important. I've really refocused on what's like actually necessary, and just like started simplifying life, reducing my costs, getting rid of things. Cars, I'm down to one car, just the Z06. I sold the R8, I sold the Shelby, I sold the Audi, the A8L, and just have the one car now, and just wanting to focus more on the experiences and just a different viewpoint on life. I realized I have so much stuff. I started selling things, collectibles and all these gadgets and so forth. I haven't bought Legos in like a year and a half. Like, that's crazy, right? I've got Lego sets that I haven't built. I have the Lamborghini Sion set, the Daytona SP3 set that I bought brand new, and they're still sitting in a box because I haven't had time to build them. I have one of the Aston Martin sets, and now there's a new McLaren P1 set and the Countach set. I'm like, I want those too. And I was like, don't do it, Eddie. One, I don't have the money. Two, build the ones that I already have before I buy new ones and so forth. So it's interesting. It's different. Again, no regrets at all whatsoever. But yeah, I'm definitely a lot happier now than I was last year. And with that, actually, let's go grab a GoPro, hop in the Rolls Royce. The Rolls Royce, man. You're gonna be like, what are you complaining about, Eddie? You have nothing to complain about. How is your life difficult? You have a Rolls Royce to drive. I mean, yeah, there are obviously still some really amazing parts of this. So let's go hop in the car and talk about some of those things. You know, life doesn't seem so bad when you're in a Rolls Royce Ghost. Hopped in the car. We are heading towards Los Angeles to go pick up my new little DJI Osmo 3. I'm buying that because, you know, that's an investment. It is equipment, it is gear to make vlogging and life easier, and I want to do rollers with that because that looks really fun. But anyways, back on to the main topic of the 6-month update of full-time YouTube. Where was I? So let's talk about some of the positives, the upsides. One of my favorite aspects of this new career shift and new direction is the freedom and flexibility. When you're self-employed, when you're in charge of yourself, the freedom and flexibility is just amazing. There is no worry, consideration about PTO, about like your schedule. You are fully in charge. I can decide when I do what, when I run errands, when I go to the gym, when I work, what time, where I work from. My travel schedule is fully at my own discretion, and it is so freeing. And it is absolutely, without a single doubt, my favorite aspect of this. It would be so hard to go back to a structured 9 to 5 where you're expecting to sit in meetings at certain times and you have to be at work at these hours. In the past, I was never a morning person, right? So getting to work early was never my thing. So I'd show up when I show up, right? Between 9 to 10 o'clock. And I just work until 9 or 10 p.m. at the office, eat my dinner at work. Maybe if I had time and energy, hit the gym for a little bit of a workout or whatever it was. And then I leave the office sometimes at 9 to 10 p.m. So I did have some freedom and flexibility of schedule depending on what it was in my role. But now this is unmatched. It's unparalleled. I'm in Southern California this week. Next week, I'm going down to Miami, taking a cruise with my girlfriend, so taking a little bit of time off, but I don't need to worry about how much PTO I'm taking. Yeah, technically I have infinite PTO, although when I made that joke when I first left, one of my friends was like, well, you're not getting paid anymore, so it's just TO, right? It's just time off. There's no paid aspect to it. But the freedom, flexibility, when I want to work, and it's just amazing, right? I can get up today. I got up relatively on time because I'm still kind of on East Coast time while in California. Got up at 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish, and then relaxed for about an hour, and then got going, had a coffee, and did 3-4 hours of work, emails, made a post, and answered a couple things, figured out a couple things, worked on something for a client, and then prepped for this video. Now I'm filming. I'll be heading off running some errands, right? Picking up the camera, going to Best Buy. Then I think I'm gonna go to the gym in the afternoon, get my workout in, and then later on in the evening, I'm gonna take the Rolls Royce out again and go film the B-roll and do other things with the car as we get golden hour. So it's just full freedom and flexibility across all aspects of life. And that's got to be one of the absolute best parts. I get to be in charge of my schedule fully. You're not pulled in anybody else. You don't need to worry about optics of when you're traveling and doing what and when and what time you're showing up for this and X, Y, and Z, right? And when I was in my previous job, any job, you have to have those considerations in mind. So the freedom, flexibility is absolutely one of the best parts. There are also some other cool. I'm in a Rolls Royce right now. I'm in a Rolls Royce Ghost. I have this for a couple days this week. Driving around. I've got a review to film, a vlog. Like that's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. The opportunities are still really cool. Getting to drive some fun cars, meet some cool people, go on some cool trips, and I have to remind myself. Even this time last year, looking at where I am now, am I grateful? Absolutely, right? I've made progress. It's hard when you're in the day-to-day to see the progress the steps for the new opportunities because you're just so caught up in what's next and what more could there be. But I look back and think, I always wanted to get more press cars and connections with OEMs and brands and have these opportunities. And now I have a Rolls-Royce press car, I've had a Maserati, I've had Lotus press cars, I've had Mercedes, Land Rover, BMWs, I had my first Audi press car. Like, those were some awesome things that even last year I did not have. I've gotten to go on a couple more press launches. I got to go on the Infiniti QX80. I'd never done an Infiniti press drive before. Met their PR team and got that opportunity to drive the Infiniti QX80 out in California. I've got some other opportunities lined up. So it's you have to sit there and look and be like, okay, well, this time last year, would I be envious of where I am now? And absolutely, I should be proud of what I've accomplished so far, the progress that's been made to this point, right? There's always things that you have to see. You cannot get too caught up in what's next. I have to sit down, look back, be like, yes, I've made some progress, done good work. There's always more. So that is one of the positives that has come out so far. That being said, there is still always absolutely more things to do. There's a seemingly endless list of to-do items, right? I have so many different ideas, so many things I want to get to, and I keep writing it down and checking things off, and it keeps getting longer and longer, right? I did it when I kind of reset when I came out to California this week. I'm like, what am I doing this week? Because all I'm out here for is to film, drive, film, go to the gym. Like, that's everything I'm here for. I'm going to see some friends, obviously, and eat, but otherwise, like, my purpose here is to work, focus on that. It's got a mini work retreat. My girlfriend's like, you're doing a mini work retreat going to LA. I was like, yeah, you could view it that way. And the to-do list was massive, from research for the videos to film, videos to edit, scheduling some things out, doing a couple things for some clients, some brainstorming, some strategy planning, and then some other personal things to check off too. So there was a insane amount of stuff to do, and that leads me to kind of the strategy, the ideas that I have percolating. And the reason I've been a little bit down and struggling and doubting is because what I've been doing right now, I don't know if it's working the way I want it to. So I had a theory: increase the amount of content, you'll see increased returns and grow. It's a momentum-based thing, right? Social media is very much momentum and almost cyclical at moments, but definitely you want it to be a momentum-driven thing. So like, all right, let me double my video output. Last year the goal was 2 videos per week. Sometimes I hit 3 videos per week. Usually it was around 2-ish. I was like, all right, do 4 to 5. See how that works. And well, one thing I realized, I kind of started burning myself out because I was exhausted. I was filming so much, not doing anything else except for filming, editing, and whatever. So I don't know if that was quite sustainable in the current way, but also I realized the return was not yielding results. So I was like, okay, you can't just sit there churning stuff out. Approach it a little more strategically, think about it. So I have a lot of different ideas right now on what I want to do differently. One of the big ones actually would be a pretty big shift, and it's reorienting what I do with this channel and creating a second channel. It's something that I've always known. I don't have a very, very specific focus for my videos. I'm kind of all over the place in terms of the kind of cars, because that's my interest. That is genuinely my interest set. Like, one week I'm driving an electric crossover, and then it's a supercar or a hypercar, and then it's a luxury SUV, then it's a performance SUV, then it's an off-road truck, because I think it's cool to get to experience the full range of the automotive industry, right? This week I've got a Rolls-Royce Ghost and an Escalade V, and then in 2 weeks I've got an SL63 AMG, and then a Mustang Dark Horse, and that's just genuinely like it's cool to me to get to try all these different things. But with the channel, then it's kind of all over the place. And it's like an ownership perspective video. Then it's like a casual vlog for a car event or something, right? So it's not the same thing over and over again. Some of the other people that you see on YouTube, right? They're always just doing lifestyle vlogs or car vlogs. They're only doing like really formal reviews and comparisons and evaluations and things like that. They're only doing performance enthusiast vehicles, or they're just family vehicles, or they're just American vehicles with muscle cars and so forth, domestic brands. So I was like, do I create a separate channel and give that a shot? There's a lot of other thoughts behind that too, right? Sometimes the social media platforms may reward new creators because they want new people creating new accounts and building new audiences and so forth. And when you're a legacy account, you may start feeling a little stagnant and so forth. So it's like, maybe you want to try that. Maybe that would spark the passion and excitement to build something new from scratch. So an idea I had in mind is turn this channel, EddieX, into more personality focused, the casual vlogging lifestyle, bringing you along to see what a day, what living with a car like this is like, what owning my Corvette Z06 is like, what traveling to different places is going to be like. I've got a vacation coming up with my girlfriend. We're going to Japan later this year. I've got the press drives that I sign up to go to. Maybe some like food stuff. I love food, very passionate about food, cooking, right? Love making dumplings from scratch, showing you what that's like. So turning it into just a more kind of overall myself personal focused vlogging channel, and creating a second one for the cinematic reviews, the formal car evaluation content, and segmenting it that way. That was a thought. There's also the other vertical platforms, right? You have vertical short form content. TikTok brought that about. YouTube Shorts, Instagram Shorts, Facebook Reels, or Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. I don't think I've done enough of a job really investing into doing that kind of content. I started doing YouTube when there was just YouTube, landscape, long form. We just did this format, right? Stick GoPros in the cars, talk to the car outside, so a camera on a tripod, all long form landscape stuff. Short form, I just kind of did it. I've had some reels do well, but I'm not a TikToker. I don't even use TikTok. I don't consume TikTok content. I sound so old right now. Oh my goodness. I guess I am old. I'm almost 30. Anyways, those are some ideas. The podcast. I still want to do a podcast. I recorded a couple episodes, put them up, ran out of time to keep doing it. I need to get that organized too. I've thought about building a website for something. I thought about maybe creating an agency, merchandise, right? I've got some merch ideas that I'm working on right now, some fun little designs. There's just an endless list of things to do, and it ends up becoming a constant juggling task of prioritizing. I mentioned this in the 3-month video, right? The challenge of knowing what to prioritize, what's most important, what makes the biggest impact. And I got really good at doing that in my previous role because I did serve as that person for a lot of my team members, right? There's all this stuff coming, all these new projects, all these new initiatives, these new campaigns, these new products coming. What's the most important? And distilling that down to a team and be like, all right, well, this is our number one thing. We need to get this ready to go because we're launching this product in 2 months' time, right? So obviously that's the number one focus. For myself, it's just like, oh my gosh, there's everything to do. So I've been getting a lot better at figuring out what is the most important thing, right? For a little bit, it's like, all right, chill on the filming because you've got this backlog of 15 videos to get through. So just focus on editing. I sat at home, got through editing, got through all those videos processed. Now I'm more caught up and so forth. Now it's like, okay, looking forward, schedule press cars, right? All right, go through a wave that, get press cars booked out for the next 2 months. I've got a car a week to drive and create content with. So that endless game of prioritizing, figure out what is next and most important, that is a big, big aspect of being self-employed. You're also in charge of everything. It's not just filming videos and editing them and putting them up, right? It's the other social media aspects. It's the scheduling, the networking, the background administrative work, the scheduling of your calendar of when these trips are happening. Stuff starts getting double booked. This week there was a Cadillac event that I could not go to because I already had this event booked out here. And then some stuff also starts falling through. The best laid plans don't always come to fruition. I was supposed to come out to California this week for a Nissan Drive event. That's not happening. It got canceled for a reason. There was a manufacturing problem with the vehicle, so that's not happening. I was supposed to have a Rolls-Royce Spectre this week, but the car had debris that damaged the vehicle over the weekend, so they had to replace it with a Ghost instead. I had it lined up for the Monday, but then scheduling. So there's all these different things you're juggling and making happen. So yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, but these are the things that I still live for and I enjoy. I enjoy feeling super productive. But at the same time, there's some days where I feel like I do a lot, but the list is still so long that you don't feel productive. And that can be demoralizing too. It's like, I worked for 12 hours today, but my to-do list is still just as long. Oh my gosh, I'm not making any headway, right? I'm exhausted. But that comes with the territory. It comes with the nature of doing anything that's challenging and worth doing. It will be difficult. It absolutely will be difficult. So, looking forward to the next 6 months, what should you expect? What should I expect? I'm not quitting. I'm not deeming myself a failure quite yet. Have I thought about hanging it up and be like, all right, I did it. Let me go try something else? Fully honest, yeah, I have. I was like, I've done this. This thought has crossed my mind. I have done YouTube for 10 years, a decade, and it's not something I ever expected to do. I went to school for mechanical engineering. My dream was to go work at an automotive OEM, work up the ranks in engineering, be like a chief engineer for a really cool program. And I worked at Ford as a vehicle and engineer for a bit. I was like, that's not for me. And I completely just took my career in a completely different trajectory. So the thought has crossed my mind and goes, all right, well, you took the risk, Eddie. You left your job, you made that call, and you gave it a shot. 6 months is not the longest time in the world, but it's also not inconsequential. The hesitation there is like, have I really given it a full enough shot? Have I really dedicated enough? Have I taken the risk? These things take time to build up. Don't give up, right? And it's really, really tough. It's difficult. I've tried talking to some friends about it. I've thought about it long and hard. When I'm in the car for 2 hours, I'm battling LA traffic, leaving LAX. Just sit there thinking, what should I do? What's the best choice? What are the ideas I still have? Have I given this enough shot? So yeah, those thoughts always cross my mind. But right now, I think I'm still gonna keep going, keep trying. I want to execute a couple of these different ideas that I have, and there's some upcoming videos that are gonna be pretty cool. Do more content with my own car, the Z06. I've got a couple more ideas that I haven't had a chance to film yet, and obviously I've got some cool press cars. I'm driving a Rolls-Royce Ghost, right? Life's good. And the other final thing, is this the final thing? Do I have much more stuff to ramble on about? I want to circle back to the perspective shift that I've gone through, and maybe this is with experience, maturity as I reach 30. I turned 30 at the end of this year in November. I'm turning 30, the end of my 20s. And it's what's actually important. It's the experiences, it's not the things. And you get told that all the time by parents, by teachers, by mentors, by the internet, by social media gurus, experts, whatever. It's like, yeah, right? Things don't make you happy. And that's a blanket statement. People are driven by different things. People have different kinds of motivation. I went through a period of being very materialistic. Grew up middle class, immigrant family, and I wasn't lacking for my parents. I was very fortunate. They sent me to all sorts of lessons. I did piano, I did percussion, I did these sports. I had Legos, no video games, but as many Legos as I really wanted to play with and so forth. But it's not like we had a cool car in the garage. My parents couldn't care less about cars. So when I hit college age and started getting to see these cars and so forth, that was my driving goals. I want to own a cool sports car, and I am not gonna rest until I have my own cool sports car. And I bought that Boss 302 Laguna Seca, my first ever car. I've always loved Mustangs, been a Ford person because my dad worked there and went to take her child to work day and saw the Fords and everything, but always wanted a Mustang. But anyways, went through that period and definitely climbed through the levels of cars really quickly. And it was awesome experience. But eventually, again, the glamour, the luster, it faded. You get jaded with it. And I was like, wait, the cars, they're fun and all, but the cars themselves, it didn't bring the deep joy. It was the experiences the car brought you, the people that I met via the cars, and I shared them with. That's what was actually special. One of the most fun moments I remember was grabbing two friends that I trusted and taking out the Z06, the R8, and the Shelby all at once. That was so cool. It's all right, all the hard work has paid off, right? And yeah, it's the learning and realization that the money and the cars don't bring you the happiness, the endless toys and the gadgets and whatever. They don't. It's the experiences and who you share them with. So that's what I'm really focusing on now. I want to travel for leisure. I want to be able to do something I enjoy that allows me to live life and enjoy it with my girlfriend, with Angel, right? I want to take her and show her different parts of the world that I've gotten to go to, taking her to Japan later this year, taking her to China, doing these things with somebody that really, really matters. It's so much better than driving some crazy car that you own or whatever. So I'm totally just rambling right now. My brain's in all sorts of different places. But this was meant to be a very cohesive, well thought out, structured video. I had all these notes that I laid out, all right, yeah, we're going to start with the challenges and then go into the positives and then what does the future hold and what's next and what to expect and so forth. And now it's devolved to me just randomly shouting out sentences, essentially. while in a Rolls Royce getting massage seats. So that's not too terrible. Looks like we're hitting some traffic. Nothing in the outside world bothers you when you're driving a Rolls Royce. It's so quiet, smooth, and comfortable in this thing. Like, oh man, this traffic looks actually quite bad. That's okay. Not a big deal. So I have thoughts of doing just, again, more vlog style. That's actually why I'm picking up this DJI Osmo 3, because apparently it's really good for just vlogging. The stabilization, the tracking, even the in-body audio. Really, really impressive. So the easier, the more convenient you have a piece of equipment to use and film with, that's what I realized, the better it is, right? My little mirrorless Sony ZV-E1 vlog camera is great. I really like it. It's really powerful and shoots really high quality stuff, but it's heavy and big and bulky and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try out that thing and film more vlogs. That New York City vlog I did with Angel when we traveled there and went and tried out some restaurants and had some fun. The positives, the comments from you guys were amazing. It was really encouraging. It was like, oh, maybe try some more of that kind of stuff. Something I really don't want to fall into is the trap of just content for the sake of content, just churning out the same formulaic content over and over again because that's what the social media algorithm wants, and sometimes that's just what's required. And I mean, that repetition is the death of creativity, and I want to find a way to avoid that. So thinking about different ideas on how I can be creative, what I can bring as a differentiating factor to the content, and still have fun with it while being successful with the videos that I produce and so forth, the cars. So lots of ideas to come with that. And yeah, so overall, I mean, 6-month update. Do I feel like I failed in some ways? Yeah, absolutely. Some initial theories and hypotheses I had and plans that I laid out and strategies as I made a decision to go into this and embark upon this, and 6 months in, I have not hit. There were some goals, some metrics, some KPIs that I set aside, and I have not achieved those. But then there's also some other intangible things that I have achieved and gone above and beyond that I didn't expect to, and they're hard to measure. So I can't just say I failed so far. The first 6 months of doing this have been a failure. It still may fail overall. I mean, that's true, right? How many small businesses succeed? It's a very, very small percentage of them, right? It's tough. It is very, very challenging, but I'm still happy I'm giving it a shot, but it's tough. And I think the open discourse is kind of cool to chat with you guys about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very informal and slightly scatterbrained discussion. Just talking about what the first 6 months has been like. Not much editing is going in this video. I'm literally just going to splice it all together, export it, grab a thumbnail probably when I'm back, and put it up, and continue on in traffic in the Rolls Royce. Not a bad thing, right? There are worse places to be stuck in traffic in, worse cars to be stuck in traffic in than a Rolls Royce Ghost. This thing is so nice. I'll be covering it more in my Living With vlog and also the full review I'm going to do with this, because this merits a full review, but it's unmatched, the absolute pinnacle. Like, it is very, very expensive. This car is extremely expensive, and you can't say it's twice as good as a Mercedes Maybach, but man, the presence, the reaction of people when you're driving a Rolls Royce, and just the feeling, you know, I just love looking forward and seeing the Spirit of Ecstasy. It is just so cool up there across that long hood. Driving around in a Rolls Royce makes you feel like an important person, even when you're not, like me, not important at all. But I appreciate all the support, all the positive comments that all of you have left on the videos that I've put up over the years and years and years. Gonna keep trying, and always welcome suggestions, ideas, feedback, different new channel. I have a name actually set aside for that, but I'm not gonna share that quite yet. A new channel, build that out maybe, separate the reviews. This will be the vlog channel, more casual, see more aspects of my life, talk more about what I've experienced in my career, the things that I've learned. All of those things I think would also be really cool to cover. But with that, I am getting off the freeway heading to Costco. Not Costco. Actually, I will go to Costco later. I haven't eaten anything all day today. I am starving. But this also may be one of the quietest videos in terms of interior volume, because this thing is so isolated from the world. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.